In a small hospital room, a couple stares at their newborn's unusual face with disgust. Unable to accept her appearance, they walk away without looking back. 20 years later, a confident young woman stands in front of their small shop. When she pushes open the door and their eyes meet, time freezes as recognition slowly dawns on their faces. What happens next will make them question every choice they've ever made. Winter mornings in hospitals have a particular quality to them. The corridors are quieter, the air seems crisper, and sometimes life-changing moments unfold in the most unexpected ways. For Sarah Matthews, a veteran nurse of 15 years at Memorial Hospital, January 15, 2003, would become such a morning. The day started like any other, with Sarah making her rounds in the maternity ward, but everything changed when she heard muffled voices and hurried footsteps near the nurses' station. A young couple was walking away rapidly, their shoulders tense, their heads down. Something about their behavior set off alarm bells in Sarah's mind. Following their path, she discovered what they had left behind. A newborn baby girl, barely 2 days old, wrapped in a simple white blanket. The infant's face showed signs of facial deformities, asymmetrical features, and a cleft palate. But what caught Sarah's attention weren't the imperfections. It was the baby's eyes, startlingly bright and alert, seeming to look right through her. Later, Sarah would learn the full story from her colleagues. The couple had arrived at the hospital 2 days earlier for the birth. When they first saw their daughter's face, something in them broke. The mother couldn't bring herself to hold the baby, while the father paced the room, muttering about how they couldn't handle this, how it wasn't what they had planned. That morning, they had made their final decision. "We're doing what's best for everyone," the father had said, his voice trembling as he signed the abandonment papers. The mother hadn't spoken a word, hadn't even looked at her daughter one last time before they walked away. For Sarah, something stirred deep within her heart as she cared for the abandoned infant over the following days. She watched as social services came and went, as potential adoptive families were contacted. But each time someone new looked at the baby, their eyes would drift to her facial features, and their enthusiasm would fade. What troubled Sarah most was how the other nurses treated the baby. While they provided proper medical care, there was a detachment in their interactions. They would avoid making eye contact with the infant, rushing through feedings and diaper changes. But Sarah saw something different. She saw a fighter, a tiny soul who deserved just as much love as any other child. The mandatory waiting period passed, during which the birth parents could have changed their minds. They never did. Sarah, who had never married but had always dreamed of being a mother, made a decision that would alter both their lives forever. She began the adoption process. Months of paperwork, home visits, and evaluations followed. Some questioned her decision to adopt a child with special needs as a single mother. But Sarah remained determined. Finally, on a bright spring morning, Sarah officially became a mother to the baby she named Emma. It was the beginning of a journey neither of them could have predicted. The early years weren't easy. Emma's facial differences required multiple surgeries, each one bringing its own challenges and recovery periods. Sarah had to learn how to navigate the healthcare system, fighting insurance companies and seeking out the best specialists. She worked extra shifts to cover the mounting medical bills, but never once regretted her decision. But it was the emotional challenges that proved most difficult. Children can be unintentionally cruel, and Emma faced her share of stares, whispers, and hurtful comments. Birthday party invitations became rare, as other parents, perhaps unconsciously, excluded Emma from their children's social circles. Sarah would never forget the day 6-year-old Emma came home from school, tears streaming down her face, asking why she looked different from other kids. That evening, Sarah sat with her daughter and explained that being different wasn't a flaw. It was what made her special. She taught Emma that true beauty came from how you treated others, not from what you saw in the mirror. Instead of letting the challenges break her spirit, Emma developed a remarkable resilience. She became curious about her surgeries, asking endless questions to her doctors. During recovery periods, she would read medical books meant for adults, fascinated by the complex procedures that were helping reshape her face. One particular incident in middle school changed everything. A new student had arrived, a boy with a severe burn scar covering half his face. While other kids avoided him, Emma approached him during lunch. She shared her own story, showed him her surgery scars, and made him feel less alone. That day, she realized she could turn her experiences into something meaningful. As Emma entered her teenage years, something remarkable began to happen. Her academic performance soared, particularly in science and biology. While other kids her age were struggling to find their path, Emma had already discovered her calling. She wanted to become a doctor, specifically, a pediatric plastic surgeon. Her drive was extraordinary. She studied while other teenagers partied. She volunteered at hospitals while her peers went to the mall. During summers, she interned at medical research facilities, impressing professionals with her knowledge and dedication. Her dedication paid off when she received an early acceptance to medical school at just 17 years old. Medical school brought its own set of challenges, but Emma thrived. Her slightly different appearance, which had once been a source of pain, became an asset. She could connect with patients in a way other doctors couldn't. She understood their fears, their hopes, their insecurities, because she had lived them all. During her residency, Emma started a support group for children with facial differences and their families. She organized monthly meetings where kids could share their experiences, where parents could find comfort in knowing they weren't alone. The group quickly became known throughout the hospital as a place of healing and hope. By 25, Emma had become one of the youngest plastic surgeons in her state. Her specialty became helping children with facial differences. In her consultation room, parents would often break down in tears of relief when they realized their child's doctor truly understood what their family was going through. But despite her success, there was a question that had always lingered in the back of Emma's mind. What had become of the couple who had walked away that winter morning? The people who had looked at her face and decided they couldn't love her? Using her hospital connections, Emma managed to locate them. They still lived in the same city, running a small gift shop in the downtown area. For weeks, she debated whether to contact them. Sarah, who had always been honest with Emma about her adoption, supported whatever decision her daughter would make. Finally, Emma decided it was time. Not for closure. She had found peace with her past long ago, not for revenge. She had moved beyond anger. She wanted them to see what their choice had led to, not to hurt them, but to show them that sometimes what seems like a tragedy can become a triumph. On a sunny afternoon, Emma stood outside their shop, her heart steady, her mind clear. Through the window, she could see them, the couple who had given her life, but not love. The woman was arranging displays while the man worked at the register. They looked ordinary, just another middle-aged couple running their business. The bell above the door chimed as Emma entered. The couple looked up with practiced customer service smiles. The woman greeted her warmly, like any other customer walking into their shop. Emma studied their faces. These strangers who had given her life. They showed no sign of recognition. Emma explained that she was looking for information about something that happened at Memorial Hospital in January 2003. At the mention of the date, the woman's smile faltered slightly. Her husband stopped arranging items at the counter, his hand freezing mid-motion. The woman's voice became strained as she asked if Emma was from the hospital. Emma told them that in a way she was. She worked there now as a pediatric plastic surgeon, specializing in helping children with facial differences. The color drained from the man's face. His wife gripped the edge of a nearby shelf. When the man asked why she was there, his voice was barely above a whisper. Emma explained the reason for her visit. She told them about a baby girl they had left at that hospital 25 years ago on January 15th. A baby with facial deformities. Then she revealed that she was that baby. The vase the woman had been holding crashed to the floor. The sound of breaking glass echoed through the suddenly silent shop. The man gripped the counter, his knuckles turning white, as recognition finally dawned in their eyes. What followed was a moment none of them would ever forget. Instead of anger or accusations, Emma thanked them. She thanked them for the gift they had unknowingly given her. The opportunity to find her true mother in Sarah, to discover her calling in medicine. to become someone who could help others like herself. Her birth mother began to sob, reaching out with trembling hands to embrace her, but Emma took a gentle step back. She hadn't come seeking a relationship or their redemption. She had come to show them that their choice, while painful, had led to something meaningful. When they begged to be part of her life, to make up for lost time, Emma's response was firm, but kind. She explained that some choices, once made, set permanent paths in motion. She already had a complete family, one that had chosen her, facial differences and all. As she walked away from their shop that day, her birth parents watched their beautiful, accomplished daughter disappear into the crowd. A daughter they had willingly given up because they couldn't see past her appearance. They were left with the knowledge that they had missed out on raising an extraordinary human being. And that realization would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Back at her office, Emma opened her desk drawer and pulled out an old photograph, the only one she had from the day Sarah adopted her. In it, baby Emma was wrapped in a hospital blanket, her face showing all its imperfections, while Sarah held her with a look of pure love. Emma smiled, knowing she had finally closed a chapter of her life that had been left open for too long. Today, Emma continues her work, transforming not just children's faces, but their lives. She often tells her patients that our challenges don't define us. It's how we face them that matters. And as for Sarah, she still says adopting Emma was the best decision she ever made. And you? What would you do if you were in Emma's position? Would you have found it in your heart to thank those who rejected you, or would you have chosen a different path?